Welcome back to another episode of the Jones Empire Podcast, where we talk about financial growth, personal responsibility, and building a better future step by step. Today, I want to talk about something that doesn't get enough credit in the money world. Something that's not flashy, it's not exciting, and you can't post it on social media like a quick win. But it's one of the biggest reasons some people eventually build real stability and wealth while others keep starting over. The topic is this: why patience is a financial superpower. And I know patience can sound like one of those simple words people throw around when they don't have anything practical to say. Like, just be patient while your bills are real, your goals are real, and you're watching time pass. So I'm not coming at this from a motivational poster angle. I'm talking about the kind of patience that shows up as a strategy. The kind that keeps you moving when progress feels slow. The kind that helps you stop making desperate decisions because you feel behind. Because if we're being honest, a lot of people feel behind financially. Maybe you do too. Maybe you look around and it seems like everyone else is getting ahead. Someone's buying a house, someone's taking trips, someone's investing and posting screenshots, someone's starting a business and acting like it was easy. And you might be sitting there thinking, I'm working, I'm trying. Why does it feel like I'm not getting anywhere? That feeling is heavy. It can make you frustrated. It can make you impatient. And impatience is dangerous with money because impatience doesn't just make you feel bad. It pushes you into decisions. Impatience is what makes people chase the fastest result instead of the best result. It's what makes you rush into a big purchase because you want to feel like you're progressing. It's what makes you jump into a risky investment you don't understand because you want to catch up. It's what makes you quit the budget after 2 weeks because it didn't transform your life overnight. So if you've ever felt behind, if you've ever felt frustrated with slow progress, I want you to know you're not alone. But I also want to give you a different angle to look at it. Maybe the problem isn't that you're not making progress. Maybe the problem is your expectations about what progress is supposed to look like. Because real wealth building is slow. Not slow like nothing happens. Slow like something happens, but it doesn't feel dramatic day to day. And that's the part people struggle with. Most of the financial success stories we hear are edited. They skip the boring chapters. They skip the years where someone was saving a little at a time. They skip the weekends that were spent learning instead of spending. They skip the mistakes and the do-overs. They skip the months where the business didn't make much money, but the person kept showing up anyway. We get the highlight reel. I went from broke to wealthy. But we don't see what that really looked like. We don't see the patience it took to keep going when it wasn't paying off yet. So let's talk about why that matters. Real wealth is built with time and steady habits, not quick wins. Quick wins do exist. Sometimes people get a big promotion. Sometimes someone buys the right asset at the right time. Sometimes a business pops faster than expected. But when that happens, what you usually don't see is the foundation underneath it. The years of work that made them ready. The discipline that kept them stable. The habits that kept them from blowing it once they got the opportunity. Because here's the truth. If your financial habits aren't strong, quick money can actually hurt you. It can make you feel like you've arrived, and then you stop doing the basics. Or you spend it because you never built the muscle of managing money. Or you take bigger risks because you think you're untouchable. Steady habits, on the other hand, protect you. They grow you slowly, but they grow you for real. And patience is what allows steady habits to actually work. Think about it like this. If you planted something today, you wouldn't dig it up tomorrow and get mad that you can't see a tree yet. If you went to the gym for 1 week, you wouldn't panic because you don't look like an athlete yet. But with money, people do the equivalent of that all the time. They save for a month and then ask, why is my savings still small? They invest for a few weeks and then say, this isn't working. They start a business, and after a couple of slow months, they decide it's not for them. But money growth is more like planting and training than it is like flipping a switch. The early stage is quiet. The progress is real, but it's not loud. Now, this is where patience connects to investing, saving, and business growth because those 3 areas all reward people who can delay gratification and keep showing up. Let's start with investing. Most people know, at least in theory, that investing is a long-term game. They've heard buy and hold, They've heard compound interest. They've heard time in the market beats timing the market. But knowing it and living it are two different things. Living it means you can put money into an investment and not panic when it doesn't immediately pay you. Living it means you can watch the market go up and down without making emotional decisions. Living it means you can keep investing regularly, even when it feels boring. Because investing is mostly boring. That's the funny part. The best investing behavior looks unimpressive in the moment. It's just consistency. It's just doing the same healthy thing over and over while everybody else is chasing excitement. And that patience, that's what gives compounding time to do its job. Now, let's talk about saving. Saving is simple, but it's not always easy. And one reason it's hard is because saving doesn't give you the same immediate reward that spending does. Spending feels like progress right now. You buy something, you see it, you enjoy it, you post it, you feel it. Saving feels like nothing. You transfer the money, and your life looks the same. You still go to work. You still have responsibilities. You still have the same routines. And unless you're tracking it, you can forget that you're building something. Saving requires patience because you're choosing a future benefit over a present thrill. And if you stay with it, there's a moment that happens for a lot of people. It's not always dramatic, but it's powerful. One day you realize, hold on, I'm not vulnerable the way I used to be. You realize you can handle a surprise expense without panic. You realize you're not one paycheck away from chaos. You realize you have options. That's what saving buys you. It buys you peace and flexibility. But it takes time. Now, business growth. Business is probably the biggest patience test of all because business is unpredictable at first. It can feel like you're doing everything right and still not seeing results. It can feel like you're putting in time and energy and the return is small. And the temptation is always there to quit early, to switch directions too fast, or to chase whatever looks like it's working for somebody else. But a lot of business success is simply the ability to stay in the game long enough to get good. That's not a popular message. People want the shortcut. They want the instant customer base. They want the viral moment. But most businesses grow through ordinary consistency, improving the product, learning your market, showing up on schedule, taking care of customers, adjusting, learning, repeating. Patience is what keeps you building when the world isn't clapping yet. And this brings me to something I think really hits home, the situations where people quit too early. Because I've seen this in different forms, and if we're being real, I've done versions of it too. Not always with money, but in life. We all have that thing where we tried, didn't see fast results, and then told ourselves it wasn't working. So let me walk through a few relatable examples, and you'll probably recognize at least one. Here's one. Someone starts budgeting. They say, I'm going to track my spending. I'm going to stop bleeding money. They do it for a week or two and they feel proud. Then reality hits. They realize how many little expenses are draining them. They feel restricted. They slip once, they overspend, and then they mentally throw the whole budget away. They say, see, I can't do it. But the truth is budgeting isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and adjustment. The win isn't that you never mess up. The win is that you catch it faster and recover quicker each time. Quitting early steals that lesson from you. Here's another one. Someone starts investing. They open the account, they put in a little money, and then they check it every day. The market dips. They feel fear. The news starts sounding dramatic. They start imagining losing everything. So they pull out, maybe even at a loss, and they decide investing is a scam. But what really happened? They use a long-term tool with a short-term mindset. Patience would have changed the outcome. Patience would have said, I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep contributing. I'm not going to let my emotions drive this. Another one. Someone starts paying down debt. They're motivated at first. They throw an extra $100 at the balance. It feels good until they look again and the balance is still huge. Then something comes up, car repair, medical bill, life, and they feel like, what's the point? But debt payoff is one of the clearest examples of how patience pays. It's heavy in the beginning. It's discouraging early. But eventually you hit a point where the balance starts dropping faster, your payments start making a dent, and then the snowball effect begins. The people who win are usually the people who stay long enough to reach that turning point. And here's one more. Someone starts a side hustle or a business idea. They post a few times. They tell a few friends. They maybe get one customer, maybe none. And then they decide it's not meant for them. But most things don't take off in the first month. They take off after your first awkward attempts, after you learn what works, after you become consistent enough that people start taking you seriously. The quiet season is part of the process. So what's the common thread in all these situations? People aren't failing because the strategy is bad. They're failing because they don't give the strategy enough time to work. And I get it, because time feels personal when you're struggling. When you feel behind, time feels like pressure. Every month that passes feels like proof that it's not happening fast enough. But let me offer a mindset shift that helped me. You're not behind. You're just in the part of the journey that doesn't look impressive yet. And that's where trusting the process becomes real. Trust the process is one of those phrases people say casually, but in money, it's a serious mindset. It means you commit to the basics even when your emotions are loud. It means you follow the plan even when you're not getting quick rewards. It means you keep your standards even when no one is watching. Trusting the process doesn't mean you never adjust. It doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you don't abandon the fundamentals because you're impatient. It means you accept that growth has seasons. There's a season where you're cleaning up the mess. That might be debt. That might be overspending. That might be disorganization. That season doesn't feel like you're building wealth, but you are. You're clearing space. Then there's a season where you're building stability. That might be saving your emergency fund, getting consistent with bills, creating a buffer. That season might feel slow, but it's powerful. Then there's a season where you're building momentum. Now your savings grows, your investments start compounding, your debt shrinks, your income increases. But that momentum usually comes after consistency, not before it. So part of patience is simply staying long enough to reach the next season. And consistency is the engine. A lot of people think they need to do something huge to change their financial life. And sometimes big moves help, like increasing income, changing careers, moving to a cheaper place, or starting a serious business. But even big moves don't work without small actions that you repeat. Small actions repeated over years create big results. That's not just something people say. It's literal math. A small amount invested consistently over time can become a serious portfolio, not because any one deposit was magical, but because the deposits kept happening and the growth had time to stack. A small savings habit can turn into an emergency fund, then a down payment, then a cushion that changes your whole stress level. A small weekly habit of learning can turn you from confused to confident. You start catching mistakes before they happen. You start noticing better opportunities. You start making decisions with clarity instead of panic. And here's what's important. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. Patience means doing the right things while you wait for the results to catch up. That's why I call it superpower. Because patience is not passive. It's disciplined. It's saying, I'm not going to sabotage my future because I'm uncomfortable right now. It's saying, I'm going to keep my promises to myself even when it's not exciting. It's saying, I'd rather be steady than stressed. And to be clear, patience isn't always natural. If you're someone who's had to survive, if you've lived check to check, if you've been through instability, impatience makes sense. You want relief now. You're tired of waiting. You're tired of being responsible while life still feels hard. So if that's you, I'm not judging you. I'm encouraging you. Because patience can be learned, and it can be practiced. Here are a few practical ways to strengthen that mindset of trusting the process and staying consistent. First, stop measuring progress only by big milestones. If the only progress that counts to you is I'm debt-free, or I have a six-figure account, or I bought a house, you're going to feel discouraged most of the time because those are far-off outcomes. Instead, track the smaller wins that lead to the big ones. Did you save something this week? Even if it wasn't a lot? That counts. Did you avoid a purchase you would have made last year? That counts. Did you pay down a balance by any amount? That counts. Did you learn something that made you better with money than you were last month? That counts. Second, create systems that reduce emotional decisions. The less you have to rely on motivation, the easier patience becomes. Automation helps with that. Automatic transfers to savings. Automatic investing if you're in a position to do that. Scheduled bill payments. A weekly check-in with your numbers. When you have systems, you don't have to feel like it every time. You just do it because it's the plan. Third, don't compare your Chapter 2 to someone else's Chapter 20. Comparison is a patience killer. It makes you rush. It makes you feel inadequate. It makes you take shortcuts. And it can make you ignore your real-life responsibilities because you're trying to copy someone else's lifestyle. Focus on your pace. Focus on your path. The goal is not to look rich. The goal is to be stable, to be free, to be secure. Now, I want to land this plane with something practical because I always want you to walk away from an episode like this feeling like, okay, I can apply that. So let's end with 2 simple weekly actions you can take to stay patient and consistent. Nothing complicated, just 2 things you can do every week to keep yourself grounded, even when progress feels slow. Weekly action number 1, schedule a 15-minute money check-in. Just once a week, same day if you can. Sit down and look at a few basic things. What came in, what went out, what bills are coming where your savings is, and if you're paying down debt or investing, take a quick look at that too. The point is not to obsess. The point is to stay aware. When you do a weekly check-in, money stops feeling like this mysterious thing happening to you. You start feeling like you're driving. Even if you're driving slowly right now, you're still in control of the direction. And that weekly habit also protects your patience because you can see small progress that you might not notice otherwise. Weekly action number 2, make one repeatable decision that your future self will appreciate. Not a huge heroic move. One repeatable decision. Something you can do again next week. Maybe it's transferring $25 into savings. Maybe it's putting an extra $20 toward debt. Maybe it's packing lunch 2 days instead of buying it. Maybe it's spending 20 minutes learning a basic investing concept. Maybe it's posting one piece of content for your side business or reaching out to one potential customer. Whatever it is, keep it small enough that you'll actually repeat it and meaningful enough that it builds identity. You start becoming the kind of person who follows through. The kind of person who doesn't quit early. The kind of person who trusts the process. Because that identity is what carries you when motivation fades. And that's the heart of this whole episode. Patience isn't just waiting. Patience is working the plan long enough for the plan to work. If your progress feels slow right now, I want you to hear me clearly. Slow progress is still progress. The habits you repeat when no one is watching are the habits that eventually change your life. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay consistent longer than your excuses. Before we wrap up, one more helpful note, and I'll keep it simple. If you want a straightforward, step-by-step starting point to learn investing basics, there's an app called Money Steps. It walks through fundamentals in plain, everyday language. You can find it in the app stores if you want a little extra guidance as you build your confidence. That's it for today's episode. Keep showing up, keep stacking small wins, and keep your patience strong because it's not just a personality trait. It's a financial advantage.